So thank you very much for some extremely enlightening presentations. We are getting close to lunch, so I'll try and keep it as brief as possible. I think there are 5 principles which broadly can be agreed to. The first being that the internet was perhaps the most audacious experiment in anarchy, and it has succeeded. The internet today represents the largest ungoverned space on planet Earth. Never before in the history of humankind has so much power concurrently resided on so many fingertips around the world. There's more data which we churn out every day than perhaps from the dawn of civilization till the turn of the 20th millennia. So what we're really seeing is a tale of 2 civilizations. A brick and mortar civilization which emerged over the past thousands of years, and a virtual civilization which is evolving. And the future of humankind really lies at the intersection of these 2 civilizations. Social media rides in the back of this great anarchy. So therefore, it's a medium which I think possibly was the most beautiful thing which ever got created. It democratized the public discourse. Rather than being vertical, it made the public discourse horizontal. It held mainstream media accountable. To some extent, it does a beautiful takedown of some great exaggerated anchor egos that you see on the broadcasting screens. But then, with great power actually comes great responsibility. And unfortunately, what we've seen is that responsibility has been completely missing. You have a situation whereby everybody in the social media space is a broadcaster, most of them without any restraint or responsibility. And then you have the specter of fake news, industrial scale trolling, bots, and all kinds of hate speech, extremely pernicious extremist activity, which has become the new normal in the times that we live in. And often I ask myself, since I had the remit to administer Article 19 of the Indian Constitution, which is the freedom of speech and expression, and therefore there was a question I used to ask myself every day. Does the freedom of speech and expression also extend to the freedom of profanity, of invective, of abuse, to launch 140-character Molotov cocktails at whomsoever you do not like, primarily because this beautiful thing called the social media allowed you to really subterfuge what was supposed to be privacy as anonymity, and then go about doing stuff which possibly I do not think that the inventors of social media platforms really had in mind. And so therefore, this cannot go on. This needs to stop. And at some point in time, social media platforms need to stand up and they need to take responsibility. Because eventually, the right to credible information, the right to honest, objective facts, the right not to be trolled, the right to reputation, are also as integral to human existence as possibly is the freedom of speech and expression. And the golden mean actually lies in the balance between the 2. And so therefore, I think the time has come for social media companies to really reflect that while information flows may have become globalized, we still live in Westphalian entities. And so therefore, in non-conflict situations, where lives of people, because they speak truth to power, are not threatened, every social media account must have a verifiable address at the end of it. So therefore, it is not important that that address needs to be disclosed. But it would act as a deterrent, because eventually, if somebody wants to misuse or abuse that, that platform, he would know that he can or she can be identified, and they can possibly be prosecuted under the laws of a particular given jurisdiction. In addition to that, what was referred to earlier, I think the time has come, and of course, apparently in the Silicon Valley, you have these metadata analytics going on, whereby you will be able to grade social media behavior in terms of both credibility as also online behavior. So therefore, it would become maybe easier to segregate the kind of industrial scale trolling that we have a congressional investigation on it insofar as the United States is concerned. You know, you keep reading about whole troll factories which actually try and get political campaign accounts in other countries. So therefore, we are really living in a mess, for the lack of a better word. And till the time social media platforms, huge media companies don't stand up and take responsibility, I'm afraid, and they don't do something about it, you know, governments would step in and regulators would step in and do it for them. And that's not really going to be extremely pleasant. I remember that one of the members of the Politburo of the Chinese Communist Party used to look after the information remit, once telling me that they actually deploy about 300,000 people on a daily basis to astroturf positivity about the Chinese system on their great firewalled intranet. And notwithstanding that, they are not able to prevent 1 million mutinies which take place on the Weibo and the other platforms on a daily basis. So therefore, this is an evolving battle, because ultimately you are not dealing with 200, 500, 2,000 media companies. You're actually dealing with 8 billion people. And as broadband access increases, as the internet penetration increases, this problem is going to actually get worse before it gets better. And therefore, if we do not want to see the demise of the internet as we know it, and I'm not sounding alarmist, if we do not want to see the balkanization of the internet on hegemonistic lines or on shared value systems, I think the time has come to collectively put our head together and act. The multi-stakeholder consultations which are going around about rules of engagement in the virtual civilization, in the internet space, actually need to expedite and get their act together, because we are coming to a situation whereby no longer, I think it's possible to sweep the danger and the hazard which this entire specter of fake news and everything which comes with it really poses to our democratic way of life. Thank you.